Come back here. I'd normally start a best man speech saying what an honour it is to be stood here today. But considering Lee hasn't asked me to be best man, and Angel didn't invite me to the wedding, then I'm basically just a bloke reading this bit of paper. The other choice was Cannon, but nobody understood a single word he said last time, so sorry, you're all stuck with me. So, Mr. Lee Anthony Peacock, where do you even start? I suppose we have to start in the summer of 1998 when I was sat on the beach and heard someone shout, "Hey, guess what? Brill Cream is having a pint of diesel in the indie bar." Intrigued, I headed over with a few of the lads, and there he was in all his glory. Covered in awful tattoos, wearing some absolutely outrageous shorts, hair slicked back, big nose, big chin, slanty eyes. It was love at first sight. The first time I fully met Lee was the same night when Lee fully believed I was a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I'll let him tell you that story. I think at the time, Lee was over in Magaluf. He was with some of the lads from Mansfield. And what a couple of weeks we had. It's fair to say that the absence of camera phones in 1998 probably led to Lee still being able to have a football career. Me and Peaks hit it off from the outset, and I went over to Mansfield a few times to stay with him and to watch some of his games. It was at Mansfield where Lee became the first ever professional footballer in history to score a hat-trick with a fluorescent ball when they beat Barnet 5-0. Who needs Champions League medals, eh? I don't think I've ever met another human being in my life that has so many terrible haircuts and shocking outfits. A man with such incredible self-belief, he even managed to bring back the sheepskin coat. After another summer pretty much spent in Magaluf causing lots of carnage, Lee found himself in the position of being chased by numerous clubs. He called me to say, "You're not going to believe this, pal. Joe Royal has just signed me for Man City for £500,000, which in today's money is £2.6 million. I stood there absolutely stunned. Not about the Man City bit, but the fact that Lee Peacock had picked up his phone and actually called someone. Everybody in this room who knows Lee, especially his mates, will know this message off by heart. This is the Vodafone voicemail service for 07974 777 770. Considering some of the rough-ass centre-halves he has battled with over the years, the fact that Lee Peacock is scared of his mobile telephone will never cease to amaze me. A man with worse phone etiquette than Jermaine Jenner's. Anyway, after Lee signed for Man City, me and him moved in together in an apartment in Cheadle Hulme in Stockport, and that's where the fun really began. I went to watch his home debut for City on Saturday the 24th of November against Barnsley. He came on as sub for the City legend Sean Goater, and when he ran onto the pitch, the match announcer somehow managed to get his name wrong, a sign of things to come. Whatever the result, the drinking culture at that club meant by 6 p.m. everyone was in the players' bar, then out on town. Peaks had managed to wangle me a job in Machinair, which was the place to be in Manchester. And it was where me and him ate lots of minute steak sandwiches and drank copious amounts of alcohol. From there, we would bounce around Ampersand, our favourite stomping ground, and we'd also end up in the press club till the early hours of the Sunday morning, surrounded by half the Man United team and the far superior drinkers of Manchester City. One night, after a massive session, Peaks wasn't supposed to be out, as he was recovering from surgery. so we were all dodging our usual haunts so we didn't get caught. I had way too much and decided enough was enough and took his house keys and headed home. The one thing he said to me before I left was, "Spen, make sure you leave the key." I didn't leave the key. And Pete climbed a drain pipe to try and knock on the window before slipping and falling about 10 feet into a barrel and smashing his knee. Man City had to release a statement that there had been complications with his recovery. That complication was me. It's a shame Sky Sports News wasn't around then, as I could just see the breaking news yellow bar at the bottom of the screen. Man City striker Lee Peacock falls into a barrel after a heavy night out with a lanky Welsh spastic. In an attempt to save his Man City career, we decided it would be better to keep the partying more local and stayed in and around Cheadle Hulme and at the apartment. Every night was spent eating pizza, that we had on speed dial, and playing on PlayStation till the early hours of the mornings until Lee found a way of cheating and ruined my life. One night we came back from the pub with Simmy and Gav, and Lee had one of those machines from the club that sent electrodes through pads on your body to help with your injuries. You were only supposed to use it in small doses, so he strapped up Gav to it all over his body and turned it on full whack. It was like he was getting the electric chair, and we were rolling around laughing so much we couldn't turn it down. It used to blow my mind though how Peaks would be up boozing till 4 a.m. Then he would be the first round the training pitch the next morning. His training stats were always some of the best. Talking of stats, I have a few here from Wikipedia. Lee made 597 appearances for club and country over 22 seasons, scoring 131 goals and 45 assists. A pretty remarkable career until you compare it to his Magaluf career and numbers. 24 seasons, 98 bottles of absinthe, 657 pints of diesel, 248 hangovers and 3 fights. Lee's heat map in Magaluf was very consistent. Alex's Indie Bar, Alex's R&B and Daiquiri Palace. Only venturing out of those places to visit City Lights back in the day to listen to an even camper Elton John singing I Guess That's What They Call It, the blues. When Lee went back to training and was fully fit after about 10 months, he messaged me to say, "You're not going to believe who I've seen in training on the training ground." I said, "Who?" And he went, "George Weah and Paolo Wanchop." I responded, "You better get onto your agent then, pal." 3 weeks later, Lee's Premier League dream was over after 10 months. In hindsight, if he had picked a better lodger than me, he could have become a City legend. Instead, he fell off a drain pipe and signed for Bristol City for 600,000. Once the gravy train stopped and the Premier League wages turned to Championship money, I quickly moved out and headed back to Magaluf before he asked me to start paying rent. Looking back, what an 8 months it was. Driving around Manchester in his SLK, not going home till we found a 10. The chewing gum game, barbecue base on a pizza, the through ball, louder, Glenn sleeping in my bed, ampersand, MASH, Sunday night at the Governor's, and Lee, who could ever forget? Lee smashed it at Bristol and was a big fan favourite, and the partying continued down there, including the infamous Craig David fancy dress night. In 2003, we all descended onto Cardiff for the LDV fans final, where Bristol City played Carlisle, which was Pete's first club. There was 50,000 people there, and 5 of us had all backed Peacock to score the first goal. It was 0-0 with about 12 minutes to go, and lo and behold, up popped Lee with the first goal, sending us into absolute delirium. They went on to win 2-0, and a party in Cardiff that night was off the scale. Amazing memories. After Bristol came Sheffield Wednesday. After Bristol came Sheffield Wednesday, then Swindon. And Lee, where's that thing gone?
Bristol City, thank you.
Peacock.
Bristol City, thank you.
Have you got it? Have you got it?
There's a little photo thing that was here.
It's worth
Here we
the
go,
wait.
here we
It's
go.
worth the wait. Trust me.
After Bristol came Sheffield Wednesday, then Swindon. Swindon fans were a special breed. And Peacock actually managed to nail himself a stalker. I know what you're thinking. What did she look like? Was she blonde? Was she brunette? Well, no, actually, it was a middle-aged man who went to the game with his mum. Not only did this fella turn up at some of Lee's specials occasions, completely uninvited, he also did this. This is a Lee Peacock tattoo. I'll leave it over here so you can all have a look. Since retiring from football, Lee has actually started enjoying it. He's found his niche in coaching and lads seem to love him and vice versa. All joking aside, you'll struggle in life to find a nicer man than Lee Peacock. I've never known anyone, bar Bristol Rovers fans, say a bad word about him. It is time for everyone. When we used to go out, whether it was Manchester, Mallorca, Swindon, Bristol or wherever, Peaks would have time for anyone that came up to him. Whether it be a photo or an autograph, or just a chat, he would never ever turn anyone down. Fans at all his clubs loved him for that and his never say die attitude on the pitch. Lee lights up any room he walks into and I'm honoured to call him one of my best friends. I still didn't get an invite to the wedding, but I don't hold anything. On the 10th of March 2023, I asked his stalker for the exact date. Angel and Lee met for a drink, and Angel sent me a photo of them together, and I remember instantly thinking, oh yeah, that is a match made in heaven. I didn't expect Lee to go down on one knee quicker than Monica Lewinsky, but here we are. Me and Angel worked together in the Red Lion for a summer in 2010. Behind the bar, every night we laughed with our love of terrible tattoos that used to come into the bar. Ironically, really, that she ended up with Lee. Again, joking aside, I couldn't think of a more amazingly suited couple. Both down to earth, funny, caring and generous. People who share the same zest for life. Angel, the glamorous winner of Germany's Got Talent. And Lee, who scored 3 goals with an orange ball. Both global superstars. So in true wedding style, please raise your glasses to Lee and Angel!
Can we please have a massive round of applause for Spencer? Honestly, the love I can feel in this room right now, the love that's shared that you can see on everyone's faces is amazing. So let's have a